Alright folks, we're back to start up episode number 29 of Pokemon Sword. We're back again to start up another episode of this game since we just finished up the last trial, which, by the way, kind of went a little horribly because I almost lost the first time I went against Clara, but I won the second time because I was much more prepared. But anyways, getting back on topic, we have came back for another episode of this game to now tackle through some more of it as expected. This episode is a little different from the recent videos I've done, as this is actually the first time that I'm going on a montage. You heard me correctly. I'm going to do a montage-related video where I try to catch all of the Pokemon that I've missed on my adventure thus far. And right now, there is still a lot more that I have to collect on my journey since there was a bunch that I've missed throughout my adventure, even at some areas that I have never personally visited before. So, I'm going to actually showcase all of the missed Pokemon that I've missed and show you a little bit of commentary by doing a voiceover, similar to how I did recently. So, I'm going to let voiceover Andre take care of this one, and by the way, near the end of this episode, I'm going to showcase a very special raid at the end of the video with commentary, so keep this in mind. But anyway, let's jump onto it. Okay, so first up here, I missed that there was a tentacle somewhere in the water. You can easily find these things anywhere in the water, but it's best to go to the Fields of Honor to actually catch it from there. And I actually got this in one take by getting it in a Great Ball, so it was actually pretty easy to actually catch this thing. It wasn't really too difficult to actually get a tentacle, so I was able to get this guy into my party thanks to that. I have to admit, though, that this is not going to be the last time that I'm going to run into something this rare, since, like I said, this is a particular thing. And yes, this is voiceover Andre speaking right now, since, of course, we are doing, I'm voice acting this, the entire thing as we speak. So, of course, you're seeing all the missed Pokemon that I didn't get on my adventure, so here's the first one for you. Next up is with a Tentacruel, which took a little bit longer than the last one did, due to the fact that it was being a little bit cruel to me. It kept on breaking out of my Great Balls again and again and again, but eventually I finally caught it after a few attempts. And, yeah, it did actually take me a bit to try to catch this thing, because sometimes it would break out of it right away, or either in other occasions it would just, break out of it after the third shake or so. And it was just annoying trying to catch this stupid Tentacruel and get it into my game. It was kind of cruel to me, honestly, but I was glad after I finally caught it. So, there's the Tentacruel, as you can see. Next is with a Pokemon that I've actually never encountered before, a Zora. Many of you may know these things from some recent games that many of us have played in the 3DS. But yeah, you can actually find Zoras here. They can easily be found within an overcast setting if you head over to the Fields of Honor, where I found a Rockruff in one of the recent videos. So, I actually didn't know that you can find Zoras here. I thought you had to find them much later in the game, but apparently that's not the case. So, as you can see, there is my little Zora that I just caught. Next up is one of the rare Pokemon to find, only if you find it in a thunderstorm-like setting, and this is with a Luxio. And these ones were a lot rarer to find than most of the other Pokemon, because I hadn't actually played with a thunderstorm setting before. So, of course, I did actually manage to find a Luxio after changing this setting of the weather to a different weather condition, since most of them appear in different weather conditions that are exclusive only to that Pokemon. And since Thunderstorm is one of them, I managed to find the Luxio after switching over to the Thunderstorm here. I did find it in the Fields of Honor again, similar to last time. So yet again, same case as before. So not that much that I can mention that would really make this any different. Next up is my first ever max raid battle in the Isle of Armor, which is with a Pokemon that is very rare to get within the main game, and is actually one of the Pokemon that's impossible to get in the overworld unless you go over to a fog setting within, of course, your weather condition chart. But since I don't have fog, considering I hadn't completed the main game, I can't do that. So instead, I had to revolve around max raid battles in order to get it. This, as you can see, is a Blessey, and there's actually a 5% chance that you'll actually encounter one within a max raid battle. This one that I'm encountering right now is a 4-star raid, and I actually managed to get this one after 6 attempts, which is surprisingly lucky. Normally I would get it after a very long time or so, but apparently the game gods were nice to me, and I was actually able to get this one right away. So I was very happy that I got this blessing right away, but there's one thing I will say though. If you do want to catch a blessing for yourself, you have to revolve around giving your Chansey some friendship in order to evolve it. So instead of doing any of that nonsense, I decided to actually just go over to a max raid battle and get a rare den, just so that I can get it into the game and make it a whole lot faster so that I don't have to worry about it later on in the game, as you can clearly see. And of course, it was just, not that bad. Even though we had a couple of bad members onto the squad, we were still able to defeat the Blessy. And of course, we also managed to get it into the team, so that's at least what matters. I'll admit that Blessy is kind of good if you're really good with this Pokemon, but I don't personally know when it would be a good time to use Blessy. I mean, I'll figure that out on my spare time, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to get on that crazy side, you know what I'm saying? But regardless, I do consider Blessy to be somewhat good if you are really good with this kind of Pokemon, just not in this kind of case. But anyway, I'm going to let the commentary speak the rest of it for itself, and yeah, just watch the entire max raid battle play out, and yeah. This next Pokemon that I'm going to show took place in the Soothing Wetlands, which is where these next ones are going to be located. This one is with a Poliwhirl. Now, this is a Pokemon I've actually hadn't encountered yet, so of course I had to go tackle it through in the rainy weather setting. And of course, it's just basically another Pokemon that I've never collected into my team. So of course, as a result, it's basically that. So yeah. It's another one of those Pokemon that is, rare to get if you don't get it within a specific setting. So obviously, it's kind of much that. Next Pokemon is actually one of the trade evolutions that you can get in this game, Politoed. You can get this Pokemon by trading a Poliwhirl with a King Ore item, and it will evolve into this form. Though because of course, Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can also get one via max rates or in the overworld. And as you can see, I found one over here, as you can see. So, of course, I had to catch it in an Ultra Ball just simply because it seemed to be the most fitting that way. It was a little bit difficult, though, as the Politoed took a bit for me to actually catch it. But it didn't really take me that long before I was finally able to get this good boy into the team. So, good thing I have a frog, right? Next up is the only breeding Pokemon that we have in this montage, and this is with an Igglybuff. Now, unfortunately, the only place place I can get an Igglybuff is only during max raid battles, but there's sadly 1 or 2 star raids. So sadly, since I cannot access those at all, I have to actually breed a Jigglypuff with a Ditto in order to get an Igglybuff into my team. So here's the Igglybuff, as you can see. Next up on my list is the second max raid battle that I had in the game, and again with another Pokemon that's impossible to get within the overworld unless you have a fog setting with you, which I unfortunately do not have, due to the fact that, of course, I don't have a fog setting. So, of course, I can't do that. But anyway, this is with an Azumarill, which is kind of a bit strange, as you can also get one via evolving it at level 18, which I could have done, but I didn't want to really waste my time with that. So instead, I actually decided to try to get one myself by heading over to a max raid battle and then getting it from there. I decided that I wanted to actually use Jirachi for this fight instead of using my Milotic this time, just because I want to give him a little bit of a break just this one time. Anyway, most of this battle went very smoothly. I was able to do some decent damage against Azumarill, but interestingly enough, it had a hidden ability known as Sap Sipper. What this ability does is that if it comes into contact with a grass move, it will boost its attack a bit, and it won't get damaged at all. And that did actually happen while I was trying to use a grass type move against it, which is something I've never even heard of before. I didn't know that this ability actually does this, so I just never knew this ability existed until, I used a grass type move against it, and then that happened. So that was a pretty big shock by me, to be honest. But anyway, I'll let the rest of the battle explain for itself and let you watch the battle. So here you go. This third max raid battle that I'm going to is again with another Pokemon that's impossible to get within the main run. Of course, unless you have a fog setting with you, which I sadly don't have, and all that yada yada. This time, it's with a Wigglytuff. Now, you can actually get a Wigglytuff if you manage to get a Moonstone and evolve your Jigglypuff from there, but Wigglytuff, this particular one that I ran into, also had a Frisk ability, which allows it to basically steal a Focus Sash or so from a random Pokemon. And since one of the Pokemon allies that I had did have a Focus Sash, it actually revealed it, which is pretty interesting in my opinion. Of course, my Milotic got back on task, and he was still able to, prove his might against all the enemies, despite the fact that I didn't use him in the previous Dynamax fight. But nevertheless, I was still able to take out this Wigglytuff with no problem. So it did actually prove to be pretty easy in the long run. So at least I was able to take care of yet another Dynamax battle. So, I'm, really impressed of how powerful a Milotic can be. I mean, I know I leveled this thing up at level 100, but my god, bro, my Milotic was just becoming way too powerful for this game. But anyway, I digress. I'll let you guys watch the boss battle and see it for yourself. Next up is with a Golduck. A Golduck can actually be found in a lot of different areas as long as it's raining, which is kind of interesting to me in my opinion. Seems like I didn't catch one of these boys while I was playing through the game, even though I already have a Psyduck in my crew. So obviously I had to go back and try to get a Golduck for myself, and I managed to get one. So, yeah, I managed to get myself a Golduck, so I'm pretty much gold at this point, am I right? Okay, I'll stop. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. This next overworld encounter that I encountered in the Forest of Focus, aside from the Golduck that you just seen, was a little bit of a weird one. It's actually with a Scorlopede, which is very strange because apparently you can find these things in the overworld, but not the second evolution one, which I'm going to actually mention later on in this episode, because apparently you can only find that second evolution within a Max Ray battle, which is very weird. But either way, I caught myself a Scorlopede, as you can see. It did take a bit because he didn't quite agree to my Ultra Balls, but eventually I was able to get it into my crew. So at least that's something to bear in mind, I guess. But regardless, there's the Scorlopede, so there you go. These next couple Pokemon are actually found in a location that I've never visited before, which is Brawler's Cave. This first one is a Whismur that I just encountered, and this guy wasn't really too much of a problem to encounter. I encountered him pretty easily. He was not really that much of a problem to catch. So, yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't really mention any details with this one. It was just really basic to catch this guy, so not that much that I can really mention that would really make it any different. So, yeah, that's just about it, I guess. Next up on my list is a Poliwag, and again, she wasn't really too much of a problem to deal with here. So, obviously, she was pretty easy to catch in the long run, and yeah. So, not that much that I can really mention that would really make it any different. So, like I said, it's pretty much the exact same thing as you would expect, so not that much that I can mention. So, let's just move on. Next up is with a Loudred, which is again another Pokemon that I've never personally encountered before, so obviously I had to go catch this little boy in his own unique habitat that he lives in, which is apparently Brawler's Cave. But yet again, he was not that much of a problem. He did kind of break out my Great Balls a couple of times, but after a while he finally started to, agree with me and stand that Great Ball. So, other than that though, he wasn't that much of a problem, so I managed to get him. This next max raid battle I'm going to encounter is strangely with another Pokemon that's only exclusive within the fog setting, again, similar to last time. But this is with a Kadabra. It's kind of strange how some of these Pokemon can only be available within one condition unless you level them up enough. But I just chose not to because I don't want to go around and do that kind of rubbish. Regardless, this Kadabra battle was not really too much of a problem. I was able to take him out with no absolute problem. So, yeah. So, not that much that I can mention that would really make it any much of a difference. It was kind of easy to at least get rid of him with no problem, so I guess it makes some sort of sense why these boss battles were not particularly too much of a problem to begin with. But in any case, this fourth max raid battle didn't really go as bad. It again had to be a rare den though, because for some reason when I was trying to get this thing to spawn in, it apparently gave me an event battle instead, which was kind of weird, but either way, I got the den to show up, so I finally managed to get the Kadabra, as you can see. And, speaking of event den battles, by the way, there is one last event Dynamax battle that I actually went to at the end of this, but it's a little bit more special than the other ones, and you'll see why in just a little bit. But, for now, enjoy the battle. Next up is again with another Pokemon that I had to resolve around going to the Brawler's Cave, and it's this time with an Azumarill. You can surprisingly find one in the overworld, which is a little bit of a strange one, because normally it would be in a case where you would find it much later in the game or something, but either way, that doesn't happen. That doesn't seem to be the case with this game, so yeah, I managed to find an Azumarill myself. So there it is. This is the last Pokemon that I'm encountering in the Brawler Caves, and this time it's with a Poliwrath. This guy wasn't too much of a problem to get. He was a little bit difficult due to the fact that he wasn't agreeing to my Pokeballs again, but despite that, I didn't give up. I was still able to get this guy after a couple of attempts. It's just the fact that he wasn't agreeing to my Pokeballs that much, because I didn't want to waste any more of my Ultra or Great Balls until I get a much better Pokemon later on. So he was kind of a bit of a problem, but not that much. Either way, I was still able to get him. So there you go. Next is with the Pokemon that I was trying to search for, and lo and behold, I finally found it. Apparently, the only place you can find a Patil in the overworld is only in Honeycomb Island, which is the only place I've never visited before. And I managed to get it in a critical Pokeball, but the weirdest thing about it was that it was at level 43, which is very weird. Because the Lilligant I caught last time was at level, like, 27 or something, but apparently this one was at level 43, which is very weird. Turns out it doesn't evolve unless you give it a Sunstone, but it's really strange with the way that they designed this creature, so I don't quite get it, to say the least. It doesn't make any sense, but either way, I caught the Patil, so there you go. Okay, these last couple of Pokemon I'm going to show are all located in trailing lowlands, where I found some of the other Pokemon around here. And this first one, as you can see, is with a Scyther, which is actually a Pokemon I have not collected in my team yet as of now. So, of course, I had to go over to the game and try to catch it, but little did I know that this thing was going to actually be a little bit of a problem, since it didn't quite agree to my Pokeballs that much throughout the game. But I managed to catch it after at least a few attempts, so that's at least a good thing to know about. But anyway, there's the Scyther, as you can see, so there you go. Next up is with a Shinx, the pre-evolved form of it all. Because we already got ourselves a Luxio earlier, so of course I had to go back and try to get a Shinx, and I did it. So I managed to get into the rain, and I got myself that little Shinx that I needed. So yeah, not that much else I can mention, so there's the Shinx, as you can see. Not much else I can mention about it, just a simple Pokemon, so. Next up is with a Pokemon that I for somehow reason collected in Shield, but I did not collect within my Sword playthrough. This is with one of my favorite Kanto Pokemon, Kangaskhan, and I was able to catch Kangaskhan in one attempt by using an Ultra Ball, but, little side note, it did not take one attempt. It actually took more than a couple of tries for me to get it. Why are you lying, Andre? But anyway, it did take a while for me to finally catch this stupid thing in an Ultra Ball, but eventually I was able to catch this thing, so that's at least something to bear in mind, I guess. But anyway, there you go. This next Pokemon is actually one of the only few Pokemon that I had to go fish for, and it's with a Carnivore. You can't find this thing in max raid battles unless it is a 1 or 2 star raid or so, so of course I had to revolve around fishing to get it. And lo and behold, I managed to get it thanks to that. It did take a few attempts for me to get it, but other than that though, I was still able to get this little piranha into my team. So that only just leaves 3 more that I want to show before the special max raid battle. Let's get into them right now. Okay, so until much further notice, this is the last overworld Pokemon that I'm encountering, but that doesn't mean that this is the last Pokemon that's going to be shown within this series. So this is with a Sharpedo, and you guys may remember Sharpedo giving me a little bit of a hard time recently. Well, I finally decided to come about my fears and finally catch this stupid shark to prevent it from trying to chase me over and over again, and I caught it. So I managed to get the Sharpedo into my crew. However, not only that, I also got a second Pokemon, because off screen, I caught another Venipede and another Loudred, so I can evolve them a bit to get their evolutions. And what do you know it? My Venipede, as you can see, which was a girl, by the way, is evolving, and she evolves into a Whirlipede. So finally we have Whirlipede into the team after all this time. And only after 4 episodes did we finally get a Whirlipede into the crew. Well, technically 3, since I caught a Venipede in episode 26, I want to say, but that's besides the point. Regardless, there's the 2 Pokemon, so there's only one more I want to show before we get to the rest of the deal. Alright guys, this is the last Pokemon that I'm going to show for today, and it's with this little, Pokemon here evolving into an Exploud, which can only be found within max raid battles, again like before. So here she is, as you can see. I managed to evolve this little guy into an Exploud. So here's the last Pokemon that I'm going to show. Now let's move on to this special raid battle that I got to show. Alright guys, so now that I just got off of the voice actor stuff, thank you for that, voice actor, voice over Andre, we're about to now tackle our last and final max raid battle of the day that we're going to tackle for this episode. We just reached the end of this first montage, but this last raid battle that I'm going to have is a bit of a special one. See this Pikachu here? There is a new raid battle going around today that is going to end by August 9th. It's a Pikachu outbreak that allows you to grab Pikachus, Pichus, Raichus, Alolan Raichus, and Mimikyus as much as you want. However, there's one Pikachu in particular that I have encountered that is a really special one. And while I already have a Gigantamax one of these babies before, I'm going to see if I can try to catch 2 so I can evolve one of them into a Raichu, if I can. But anyway, that's besides the point. Let's get into this. Let's see who it's with. Yup! Pika! It's another guaranteed square shiny, this time with a Pikachu. Bet you didn't expect this was gonna occur, huh? Well, according to Cerebi, there's an 8% chance that you'll actually encounter a guaranteed square shiny Pikachu. But again, just like the Wailord, it has to be a 5-star battle and not a 4-star battle for it to count. So of course, I did exactly just that, and here's the Pikachu. Let's go over it, Milotic. You've been a real big help throughout this adventure, so time to wrap up the montage, shall we? Let's go for it. I'm not even worried if I fail this the first attempt, because I am going to run into this again, so even then, like I said, you know, boom! Palpatine. Trying to raise her evasion a bit. Like rough. Never too good for this game, though. Let's go. Uh-oh, Boba Fett's paralyzed. But you know what? That wouldn't matter too much because we'll still be able to catch this girl regardless. Use Max Geyser again, Malotech. Whoop. Can I just say that I love Max Geyser whenever you use it against an enemy? It's just so good. It's just such a good move to use, man. I know I had to use Jirachi for one of the battles in particular, but still. Okay, raising evasion again. Oh my god, you are an idiot! Why would you do that twice on Lava Fett? And this Pikachu dumb, man. Oh my lord. Let's do this. Boom! Oh! Oh, I just got her on the sweet spot. Hold up. Hold up. She's almost took it out, man. Alright, she's nullifying our abilities. Bet you didn't see that coming up. Okay, that didn't do nearly as much. Okay, she took a bit of damage because she used full tackle, but that wouldn't matter. Okay, well, it took a long time for someone to faint. Jeez. That's the longest time for someone to faint after one battle. I mean, like, come on, bro. Alright, Malotech, let's finish this off. Let's get rid of that shield. That really did not do a lot of damage. And that missed. Okay, one more shield to take out. One more. Question is, can Torkoal get it, though? Yep, he can. Yep. Come on, my boys! Let's not celebrate too soon, though, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch this Pikachu or not. And, you know I sometimes get bad luck when I'm in raid battles, so let's try something different and use a Premier Ball for once. It's been a long time since I last used these things, so let's see if we can try to catch at least one Pokemon with this thing. At least. Although it may not happen on the first attempt. We'll see. Okay, that's one. That's two. That's three. That was close, but not close enough. Sadly, the Pikachu faded away because of it. That's okay, I'll get a second attempt. Hold on, guys. Okay, let's try to do this again, because apparently that first attempt didn't quite work as I thought it was going to be planned. So, I just came back, so we'll try this again. Hopefully this time it will actually work in my favor, because that was so close on that last capture, bro. It shook 3 times and it broke out of it, so let's try that again. Hopefully this time it will actually catch the Pikachu, but it's luck-based, so let's try this again. Okay, that's one. That's two. That's three. Well, again, another close call. Apparently it didn't work that time. Gosh darn it. I'll be right back again, guys. Okay, let's try to do this again, because apparently those 2 attempts didn't work that time. Let's hope we get a little bit luckier and actually catch this Pokemon. Because apparently, those first 2 attempts I got 3 close shakes, and then it broke out of it at the last second. So let's try to do this again. Hopefully this time we'll actually catch this shiny Pikachu, but I don't know what. But let's see. Okay, that's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Okay, there we go. 3rd attempt worked. I don't know why it didn't work the first 2 times. But at least we finally caught it. So we finally got ourselves a shiny Pikachu. and we get all this gold, we'll take it gladly. Kind of fitting for this shiny thing, so. Okay, well now that we got our shiny Pikachu, we don't have to worry about this girl anymore. I'll just name you Pikachu X since you're a shiny Pikachu. I don't feel like in the mood to give you no random nicknames. Hey, you can give your Pokemon any random nickname you want, but I'm just naming them whatever Pokemon name seems best for them, okay? Alright, well that pretty much does it for all the Pokemon that I had to catch. This was a pretty long episode, not quite as long as I was expecting, but I got some pretty good Pokemon. I caught, some really good looking Pokemon from, the different places I went to, and I even caught myself a shiny Pikachu in the process. So I'm very proud of myself. Alright guys, I do hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was a lot of fun making this video. And I gotta admit, I had a blast making this episode. I enjoyed trying to catch all those Pokemon. It was a little difficult to catch some of them, but I was at least able to catch most of them. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll see you guys next time when I, of course, come back for the next episode to tackle through some more of this game and tackle the next batch. But till next time, guys, I'll see you later. So, till next time, guys, bye.